Considered one of the most controversial movies of all time, with its untrained animal action scenes. Of the 150-person crew, 70 were injured on set during production. On this Let's Talk About, we're discussing 1981's Roar.
Rawr.
You remember that, Roar? You know, it's funny because a lot of people don't know about this film. A lot of people, and just by the way, our audience, just so you know, after the show, you can actually watch the movie Roar right here on the Planet X network with Real Sharks. So awesome, right? So stay tuned after the show to
Stay
watch
tuned
Roar
for free right after.
for free to watch Roar.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get started. So this film, first of all, did anyone ever catch what I said here? This is literally what this film is labeled: a American action, no, an American adventure comedy film.
Yeah.
That made me
labeled officially under comedy. Why?
that made me
There's
laugh.
a couple comical spots to
There's
me.
some comical spots in there. Yeah, I'll agree. But let's
Yes.
describe this movie for everybody. So Roar is a pretty interesting film. Now we talked on the last Let's Talk about an animal antagonist film of Orca, which we talk about how an orca with the real world events could be plausible, everything like that. This movie is just insane. Now this movie is basically the idea if you were like, hey, let's make a movie with animals, but you're like, let's not train any of them. And if some of you are going, what? Yes.
Yeah.
This movie actually dealt with do you know the number, Donna? It was like over 100.
Yeah.
It was 71 major accidents. One of the main actresses had to have reconstructive surgery because a tiger or lion got underneath the face. A director had 120 some stitches because he was mauled by a lion. Yeah, there was, and a lot of the accidents they kept.
You're getting ahead of yourself. Let us tell everyone what this film is supposed to be about,
Right.
because there is supposedly a plot to this film. So apparently, Roar follows the story of Hank, who's a naturalist who lives on a nature preserve in Africa with his lions and tigers and other big cats. And basically, he's trying to spread awareness for these cats. He's also trying to save them from some poachers because his cats are getting off the reserve. But the film is more known for being the most dangerous movie ever made. With, 70 members of the cast and crew being injured on set. And when you watch some of this film, I don't know whether the comedy is when he's like running like the most cheesiest run
you
you've
mean the
ever
little
seen.
thing when he is doing sprint
And let's get to this. This is it had Noah Marshall, who was Hank, Tippi Hedren, who was Melodine, Melanie Griffin, who was Melanie, and Will Hutchinson, who was played committee member. But you don't really care about that because you are not paying attention to the plot nor the actors of this film. The only thing you are really paying attention to is how they are escaping death every moment and minute of this film among these untrained lions and tigers.
Jesus.
Who wants to? So let's talk about, so right off the bat, as a movie itself, discounting all the controversy, what do you guys think of Roar? And I want to hear you, Don. I want to hear what you think of Roar as a movie. Does it suck? Is it bad? What is it?
It doesn't suck. It doesn't. I kind of understand where he was coming from. Like, if I could go live on a tiger reservation to save the animals, I would. Would I make a movie about it? No.
With no trained animals.
Yeah, especially no trained animals. But I kind of see what he was getting at. I would give it a 5 out of 10. Because it's not super freaking bad. It's not. It could have been better if they had the actual trained animals, but I think that's what they were trying to get at. Was, this is the sanctuary. I try to keep them as wild as possible. If you're going to do this, this can happen. Just all the animals sharing a house with you. I don't like the open door policy.
Yeah, right.
That's all it was in this film.
Oh, I know. But no, I liked it. It was different, but yeah.
Steve, what did you think of Roar as a film?
This par for the course, man. Just because of when it came out, this film was probably filmed over what 1979, 1980, came out in 81. So it's I think it's
Five young, long year shoot.
Yeah, dude. I really think that this is exactly what it was around that time, because in the 70s there was a lot more visceral movies being made. I mean, we've talked about some of them there. Hannibal Holocaust, excuse me, being one of them. And this is kind of not the same, but it falls in the category of more realism and shock value, especially when we get into the 80s, more deeper in the 80s. I feel like this is exactly in that like realm. So it's crazy to see it now when we're talking about it in the year 2023. But in the 80s, it was kind of like, oh my goodness, how crazy is that? It's like, yeah, it's crazy, but that's what film was. Like they were like doing the most, you know what I mean? They were like, what can we do next? You know what I mean?
Right.
To, like, really shock the audience.
Right. I get what you're saying there, and I agree and I disagree. So this film, to me, when I first seen it, because I heard about it looking it up, like most injuries ever done on a film set, and this was one of them. When I first seen it, so basically this is basically somebody's pipe dream, and they were like, you know what, let's make a movie to generate income and awareness towards our cause, but they basically didn't know how to go about a film. So while I, applaud the, I applaud the attempt, the execution of it is really interesting. So yeah,
Very 70s.
most of these animals, now he had himself. Like now, that's why they don't kill, because most of the animals that were on set were actually his his tigers, his lions. Some of the other ones he actually got, he actually acquired. So what's interesting about this film though, like when I first seen it, I I didn't get any of the plot whatsoever,
definitely,
because I was visually distracted by literally what is happening on screen, because I'm sitting there going, this is my first reaction. I was literally going, wait, is he really running among these lions? Oh my, dude, what are you doing? Dude, what are you doing? Did someone die in this movie? And I look it up and it's like, yeah, a lot of people got injured, but and I heard a comment once on YouTube about the film, which I hands down agree with. And Noah Marshall, if you're listening, this is exactly how I feel about you. How could you run in that movie with the balls of steel that you had? Because I do not know how you could jump in front of lions fighting amongst each other. And he's still in character. One of the lions obviously jumps on him, the female.
The female,
and he's like, no, I gotta stop your uncles from killing each other, and like, then one of them pushes him down and stuff, and then he gets right in the middle, and you could it claws his hand. He starts bleeding, blood starts gushing from his hand. You can see all the cast and crew and the boats. They're freaking out because the tiger's all like,
"This is my boat now."
This is my boat.
They're just being a lion.
They're like, this ain't no Tony here.
Yeah.
It's crazy because the whole movie, even though it's, and I think the comedy aspect is maybe because the family's trapped in the house. Maybe it's like reverse Home Alone with lions. I don't know if that's supposed to be funny.
That was supposed to be funny?
To me,
I thought
that was
terrifying. That. Yeah, that would be terrifying. But when you finally fall asleep and you wake up next to a giant freaking kitty cat, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cute.
Right.
For like 10 seconds, and then you go like, okay, I want to get up without actually getting eaten alive.
Yeah. But at that point in time, if they're going to come cuddle with you, you've got to know they're not going to look at you towards food, I'd hope.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I know, right?
No, I'm not.
Sure?
You said, I hope.
Listen, the amount of animals I have.
Do you know the amount of movies there are? Ghost in the Darkness. There's another movie actually called Roar about lions that are eating people out of a tour. So,
right.
There's a lot of movies about killer lions.
Yeah.
Oh, and there is. There's Lion King.
The Lion King. There you go. There you go.
Oh my God.
You killed
him.
Well,
that was. That was good. Even Rob has to give it up for his jokes right now. Kudos for them, everybody, because that was a good joke. I always think I throw the best out here to you all, but they just fed you guys something really good there. So
We did.
Unlike the guy here who didn't feed his lions, man. Because good God, that scene where you're talking about, Rob, where he's breaking them up and then he falls
Right.
and the female lions are over him. That's when it felt like, oh, he
the whole
he could
time
get
you're
bit.
intense the whole time.
Yeah, he could get bit, and then his whole hand is covered in blood, and he's just
Small bag.
like laughing. I'm like, what is the deal here? It's just so. This was a bizarre film because you didn't know kind of what was supposed to be comedy. Like there's certain points where it's like this is written for the script. They're saying lines here,
Right.
and then like some other things they're not. They're just like ad-libbing.
Just improvise,
like,
yeah, because you
what
can
is
just
going
tell
on?
They're like, we're gonna die in this moment if we don't do something. They're like, so yeah, we gotta go.
That's what I'm saying, Rob. They're just like stop talking and they're just looking at the lions because they're scared out of their minds. How much were they?
Well, you
getting
would
paid
be
then?
too. Not enough. Definitely, they were not getting paid enough.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna tell you, girls.
So there was over 130 lions that were in this film. Can you believe that? And this was tigers, leopards, panthers, jaguars. So basically, the children and they basically that's why the lions didn't. That many people don't know. Like when you're watching this film, yes, there is some crazy chaos going on, and it looks like these people are going to die, but the lions.
There's 2 people that died in it.
Yes,
They're
but the
characters.
lions. But the lions, themselves, are not out to get them per se, but they are playing rough.
Yeah.
They're playing tag with their teeth, I guess you could say,
Tag
at
with their
certain moments.
Is that what you're calling it?
Because there's certain moments, and I don't know whether it was because these lions aren't trained, and the natural instinct of a cat is to chase.
Right.
So
What's
I wonder.
on the motorcycle?
That's
He's
what
like,
it's
let's
like, why
play
are they
chase.
running?
No, we're not. No, we're not.
You would think instinctively not to run by an untrained lion.
Right, but it happened, and I think that's why, like, there was moments where the lions actually, tag him.
Yeah,
there's a moment where the lion pins one of the girls to the ground with teeth
scary.
full on her thigh.
That was scary. But he didn't bite. But it was one of those things where it's like, I could get you here.
Yeah, it's like, I could get you. And
like most cats are. They're like, do I not? Do you trust me?
Right.
Do I not? And those are my house cats, my little bitty cats.
So imagine
walk
that,
by
everybody.
Eeyore.
Imagine the crazy cat lady, but this guy. And but with lions. And you know what? I think too, in a way, he did, I guess, reach his goal of bringing awareness to this reservation, because everyone sits there and says the same thing about this movie. This movie's damn crazy. And I want to harp back on what Steve was talking about when he said, this was the 80s. It was trying something new. I actually really do think that too, Steve. In a way, they were like thinking, you know what? Let's do something no one else has tried before. Let's not even bother, doing the train. We got our pets. We got our lions. These are our lions. They're cool. But it's a 5-year shoot to do this movie.
Yeah.
But
I can see why.
It would never be made again.
No.
You don't think it would be
maybe
made again without trained lions? Like if they were trained, all of them, do you think that they would
still take
attempt?
away from what this movie has, which is this everlasting intensity of when you're watching it. You're not even watching for the plot. You're like, oh my God, somebody's going to die.
Yeah.
And it's
Sometimes, because there was moments
think-
where like the lions were not filmed in the same shot as the people.
right.
You know what I mean?
and I-
Like, you guys remember the scene where the guys, like the lions, like clawing at like a cabinet or something?
Yes.
And then like the guys in it, like you can totally tell they're shooting.
Wait, he runs in the room and it looks like the lion claws at him.
Yeah. So it's different on different takes.
I think this movie might have been like the whole warning label movie, like contents in the cup may be hot. Don't do movies with untrained animals because this is what will happen. This was society's warning.
That's really what you took from this?
No.
You know what I took from this? Movies need to do this more. They need to be with untrained sharks. Just no more CGI.
Land sharks.
No, we'll rely off the buddy system. No more flying solo out there. But the point is, though, we should do.
I'm not making Meg.
Rob,
You think
real lions,
real
tigers, real bears. Oh my! That's what I'm saying.
They have done a real shark movie that was called Open Water, and it didn't end so well.
No, we were in that movie. You could see us. We're swimming just.
We were like, hey, it's
It's real sharks.
We were actually the
From the
sharks.
waves. We were actually the sharks. But back to Roar, though. This film, though, I think in a way, though, it's clever because and I'm gonna kind of harp back on what Donna likes to talk about with the family aspect because this movie is a family movie.
It
Really
is a
was,
family movie.
and by that I mean it was made by a family.
Yeah.
This is all the pipe dream of one family, and I think that's where
And
this movie does.
It wasn't just
credit.
of one family; it was his pipe dream, and he
Right.
left them to go fulfill his dream, and then brought him out years later.
Right.
Which kind of might have helped their marriage because somewhere in there she said, "Well, me and your dad were having problems anyway."
Yeah, let me go leave
And
go.
she's like, when I see him
untrained
just
lions.
curled up with the lion there, like a lion himself.
Yeah.
It is, just looking back, it's cool to see this film. I love it. This is like one of those like you gotta see it at least once films because
Once.
yeah, there is. It's interesting to just see the lion aspect. The story is whatever. It's really not about. That's how you're gonna watch it. It's like you said, Rob. I'm just like, okay, you're talking, but I don't really care because like there are specific moments where they're trapped in that hut and the lions are clawing at the door, but they're like also like snapping at each other too. Like what was it? The lion who had like the blood all over his face, right, all over his mane. He's like snapping at other lions, but the scene is supposed to be them clawing into the door, and they're all like, "Oh, don't let the lions in." It's like this is not good. You know what I mean? They're like if they're fighting each other, they're gonna kill us, type of thing.
Yeah, because he was at the beginning of the movie. The guy asked who let him on the reservation because he had trouble with him in the before. I'm gonna guess so. Yeah. Is he the one? I think they said that he'd always fight other packs for food, and eventually he was going to die if they didn't stop him.
And he does.
So
we should also mention that our audience, one of the lions, the main lion that he is actually trying to protect, does in fact get off the reservation and does in fact get killed. And it's supposed to be the lesson towards protecting animals. But did you get that with the rest of this movie?
Right.
No, you completely missed that part.
Right.
To a point. Now, when the people came up on the boat and they were talking about putting the animals down and blah, 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 because this was his land, I'm like, motherfucker, you're in his land. Like, this is African territory. Right. This is the wild animals. Like, you don't get to deserve to shoot and kill what you want because you're terrified of it. And as a society, we still do that.
And what's interesting, too, is actually 15 lions and tigers escaped off the set. And basically... after the fences and the cages collapsed, and the sheriff and local law enforcement killed 3 of the lions, including Robbie, the lead lion, who was then replaced with another lion, Zuru, when filming resumed. So this movie was almost true to life with what was actually happening, because he is talking about in this film about trying to save his lions, but his lions, of course, have to be free. They have to roam, and they get off the preserve, and people are trying to kill them. And he's like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, in a way, and no fault to the vision of this, and which I think is also brilliant, but you are so taken back by the visual aspect of the terror that the point of the movie gets past you. Almost like Cannibal Holocaust. You're so taken back by the utter animal cruelty and violence. You miss the whole fact that these people were doing terrible things to the natives, and they deserved to get what they got. They deserve to be eaten.
They got because they
got, and they gonna go get.
Yeah, and that's kind of it's funny that you're saying that, Rob. You're making jokes about it, but think of every single nature film you've seen. You've mentioned lions, and obviously lions here, shark films, tiger films, even dog films with Cujo. Every time there's something where it's like the unexplained happens, and humanity ventures in there, and they get somehow entrapped. Always the end message is, don't mess with things that are out of your control, meaning an untrained animal, or like Donna said, you're literally in their backyard. You know what I mean? It's like you walk into their backyard and expect them to be friendly with you. They're gonna be like, yeah, well, I'm not hungry now, so I won't kill you. But if I feel the hunger pains, I'll bite a leg off or something like that.
You mean like the orcas do?
Oh my goodness, those evil orcas for just living.
This film had a budget of $17 million. I just want to add that to the record here.
That's a lot.
How much it made? But
That's
did you
pretty
see how
good.
much it made?
How much did it make, Donna? Enlighten everyone.
2 million.
Box office. The
2
box
million.
office. Box office
2
score
million.
2 million because again, who wants to see people get eaten alive by it?
A
Back
lot of
then-
people do, but not that much. But
Yeah.
nowadays,
But there wasn't that much
Nowadays, no.
violence. Like,
But
yes, the
back then,
tigers
though,
are
this is
fighting.
no,
This is
Donna's right.
81.
Donna's
This
right.
is
There
81.
is nothing in the movie that is engageful. It is the sheer impact of, can you believe they filmed this movie like this?
Yeah, that's the
Right?
draw, though. It's the draw of, like you said, the draw is Roar, the most dangerous film ever
made.
That's your ticket.
That's your
So,
draw.
Yeah, it's not about like because it's 81. This is pretty gory for 1981. We're not talking about Saw here, but this was like might as well have been the equivalent of something to that degree where you're just like, oh my God, they have
Listen, in my
untrained
opinion, it's nothing like Saw. It's more like Final Destination, okay? I can watch
Just a
Saw
bunch of
all day,
lions.
every day. Now, if I walk into the jungle...
Okay, Donna,
I
not
can
everyone
walk.
wakes up and eats a box of nails, okay? We don't all eat nails
I
for
know,
breakfast.
right?
Okay? But I'm just saying, yes, I could possibly get kidnapped. Can a log truck freaking break and decapitate me? Yes, sir, it can. Can a freaking roller coaster derail? Yes, it can. No, thank you. I am done with the Final Destinations because my chances of that happening is more than me getting kidnapped.
Can I get hit by a meteor? Sure. Could
Sure,
I
I
get
can.
eaten by a truck? Possibly. Could I get eaten by orcas? Hey, maybe. But you know what? I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. God damn it.
Exactly.
The only thing I'm getting for both of you, Donna and you, Rob, is if I get hit by a meteor, I turn into Meteor Man. And if I walk through my front door, a lion might maul me, no matter where I am. And it's going to
At
be
least
Final
I'm living my
Destination,
best life.
no matter what. Yeah, I live my
Let's move
best
into that aspect, though. So let's move into some of these facts here. I want to read before we end this segment on this film for everybody. So most of the lion attacks in the movie are real, and they usually resulted in actual injury. Cinematographer Jean Desbont was mauled by a lion on set. Over 120 stitches were needed to sew his scalp back together. And guess what? He returned to do the movie. That is a man among men right there, let me tell you. Melanie Griffin was mauled by the lion. This is where you were talking about, Donna. She ended up having to get plastic surgery. She received 50 stitches in the face. So not too good there.
So that's why don't make fun of her now.
Noah Marshall was attacked by wildcats so many times during production that he eventually developed gangrene.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. So in one incident, when he was clawed by a cheetah while protecting the animal during a bushfire in 1979, all the animals were evacuated. It took several years for him to recover from his injuries. You know, everyone here may be saying, God, this is stupid. He was dumb. He was ignorant. You know what? I give the man credit. And like I will say again to the man, how could you run around in that film? Balls of steel that you had, dude. Because I could not have done that. I don't think Tom Cruise could have done that. Hell, I don't think Steve Irwin would have done that.
Right. Well, I don't know about him.
No, I don't know about Steve Irwin.
Yeah. But dude, it's so crazy. And he somehow, even though the box office was abysmal, he wins because this is a cult classic. We are talking about it. This is something that still is one of those movies where it's like, dang, I have to watch it.
You have to watch
what
these
happens
movies one time.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, what happened? Did someone really die on cam? Let me see it. It happened in the 80s.
I know one of our crew members is, in fact, satisfied with this film because, indeed, the cats were actually among the real cats getting real. So I just want to say Donna was probably happy about that because they were getting, as in the orca episode, ejaculated against their will.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, they're lions. Lions go at it.
Could you imagine that if that happened in this film?
My God.
They probably cut it out. A lot of
that's
it.
the quote unquote climax of the film is just that one shot. It's like, that's how it ends?
Jeez, Steve.
Good God.
All right, everyone. So
It's you to have that as the climax.
thank you for joining us on this very special episode of Let's Talk About. And we discussed the movie Roar. And make sure you stay tuned to watch Roar here on Planet X Network. Make sure you visit Hempner Glass and check out all their bongs and products, and check out the promo code on Planet X Network to get a discount. And this is Rob with Steve and Donna, telling you to listen, like, and subscribe, and catch us wherever podcasts are broadcast. And we will say catch you on the flip side, and stay tuned for Roar.